Wrong Turn 4. When you run out of ideas, make a prequel. Hey there guys, and welcome back to Dino Reviews. So we've made it to Wrong Turn 4, the fourth entry in the Wrong Turn franchise. Now this one is more of a prequel of sorts, where we go back and look at the original three hillbillies from the first Wrong Turn movie and really just get an origin story of how they came to be. So the movie picks up in 1974, where we go back to a sanatorium that the hillbillies were kept at. They kind of grew up in the sanatorium until one night they broke free and released all of the patients. Of course, chaos ensues and they torture and murder all of the staff and make their escape. 29 years later, we follow a bunch of 20-somethings that stumble upon the sanatorium, and well, you can guess what happens. Going into the movie, I wasn't too sure what to expect. Honestly, I wasn't a fan of the third movie. It was a major letdown, and I actually found the whole thing quite boring. This one is definitely a step up. It's still not a great movie, but the practical effects are much better. The kills in particular, there's not a lot of CGI. The characters, I definitely have issues with it, but I enjoyed that we went back to the roots of these hillbillies. It was a prequel of sorts. The cast of 20-somethings in this film are by far one of the worst casts I've seen in a horror movie. Just the characters themselves, the decisions they make throughout the movie, how they act, how they talk. At times they act like children, and it just is quite irritating. Because of that, you don't really identify or gel with any character in the movie, so you don't really care if they live or die. As well as that, the decisions these people make throughout the movie make absolutely no sense. There is a scene in this movie where they actually capture the hillbillies, where they can just take them out there and then, and they decide not to do it because they can't live with the guilt. That kind of happens throughout the entire movie, where they're constantly kind of going back and forth, fighting with each other with what to do. That for me irritated me so much in the movie, especially because it was coming from the final girl of the film. Generally with a horror movie, you want to identify with that final girl, you want to support them and really hope they survive. From that moment on, I wanted her to get killed off as soon as possible. Now the one good thing about the cast is we have a lot of characters to juggle, which of course means more kills. The kills in this one are definitely a step up. They use a lot more practical effects. We got decapitations, we got people being hung and drawn, so there's a lot going on. At the same time, what I will say is the kills are a bit too brutal. They're a bit too gory and a little bit too much for me at times. With people being eaten alive, and although this is a cannibal movie, we come to expect that, it goes on for a little bit too long. It kind of goes beyond torture porn. I didn't enjoy that about the movie. I actually found it quite uncomfortable at times and quite disturbing. Now at the same time, as I said, the kills are also done quite well because they're done with practical effects. Compared to the last movie, which used a lot of CGI, you can tell practical effects worked. The kills look realistic, they look extremely gory, and they leave an impact. As for the cannibals, we go back and explore the original three cannibals from the first movie, and I enjoyed kind of digging deeper into the mythology of their characters, but also I enjoyed them more than the 20-somethings. They had their own personalities, they were quite funny at times, and I enjoyed seeing them more. I actually wanted the entire cast besides one person to be killed off. The only person in the cast who I didn't want to get killed off got the most brutal and insane death in the movie. As for the origins of the cannibals, it didn't really add too much to the series. You could actually skip Wrong Turn 4 and not really miss out on anything in the franchise. Even at that, with Wrong Turn 2, we get a backstory already about the cannibals, so I don't think necessarily this movie was needed, but it was fun just to go back and give them some sort of a backstory. The setting was also a big plus in this movie. I enjoyed it actually set it in a sanatorium. It definitely added a creepier vibe compared to the last couple of movies, but I do wish they actually used that snow setting a little bit more. One thing we are definitely missing in the horror genre is more snow set movies, so I do wish they explored that a little bit more. I think it could have definitely had some interesting options for kills as well. But we do get that at the start and the end of the movie. There's a little bit in there, but there's just not too much. I do wish we had more time maybe running through the woods in the snow itself, rather than it all being set at the sanatorium. The ending of the movie also doesn't really set it up to connect too much with the first movie. Yes, there's a little bit of a connection there, but you do kind of finish the movie and just go, okay, is that it? It doesn't really connect to the first one as much as I wanted it to. It's an origin story, it's definitely a backstory, but most of that origin comes in the first 10 to 15 minutes. Overall, I definitely enjoy this movie. I do have issues with it, but I do think it was better than the third film. My main issues with the movie, as I said, were the kills. Although they were fun, the practical effects were by far the best practical effects out of all 4 movies. They just went on for a bit too long. They were a bit too graphic and a bit too gory. The characters as well were by far the worst characters I've seen in a horror movie, and I just wanted to see them get killed off. But there were still fun parts of the movie. The hillbillies were great in the film, and the setting I really enjoyed. But guys, what is your opinion on Wrong Turn 4? Are you a fan of the movie, and where would you rank it out of all 4 movies that we begin with? Remember guys, if you want to see more videos like this one, if you want to see more Wrong Turn reviews, you can subscribe to the channel. I am going to be finishing this series up, so you can pop on your notification bell just so you don't miss any of the videos. Now if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure guys you click that link down below, and I will see you in the next one.